Samshare Majia Rohili Poria Separe Nahilo Asha Aparakarama Bunjaye Shamana Kohelo Chanada Karama Bunjaye Shamana Oye Lochanada Apara Karama Bunjaye Shamana Oye Lochanada Jaya Vishupad Paramahamsa Pradivajikacharya Stotra Sutta Shishimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Jaya Vishupad Paramahamsa Pradivajikacharya Stotra Sutta Shishimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Segaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sari Gaura Bhakti Vrinda Ki Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gop Gopinath Shamakun Radhakun Gita Govardhan Ki Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Shri Navadip Dham Ki Shri Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Ganga Mai Ki Yamuna Mai Ki Bhakti Devi Ki Tulasi Devi Ki Harinam Sankirtan Yagya Ki Srila Prabhupada's Transcendental Book Distribution Ki Jai All glories to the sum of devotees All glories to the sum of devotees All glories to the sum of devotees All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga All glories to Srila Prabhupada Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Shrinvatam Swakata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana Hridyantasto Hibadrani Vidhunoti Suritsatam Shri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is the Paramatma super soul in everyone's heart, and the benefactor of the truthful devotee, cleanses desire for material enjoyment from the heart of the devotee who has developed the urge to hear his messages, which are in themselves virtuous when properly heard and chanted. Nashta prayesha badreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati utama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtaki. By regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam and by rendering of service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. Tatapi natamanasya nata nataya natitam para avare yata rupe janiyam te tu arupina tatapi natamanasya natanataya natitam paravire yatarupe janiyam te tvarupinaha tatapi natamanasya natanataya natitam paravare yatarupe janiyam te tvarupinaha tatapi natamanasya natanataya natitam paravare yatarupe janiyam te tvarupinaha
Tapinasamanasya Nathanataya Nakhitam
Rupe Dhaniyam Te Tvarupinaha. Mataji's. Tapinata Manasya Matanata Yanatitam Paravare Dharupe Dhaniyam Te Tvarupinaha. Tapinata Manasya Matanata Yanatitam Tata api, in spite of that, natamanasya, of the one who is asking for, nata, O Lord, nataya, please award, natitam, as it is desired, para abare, in the matter of mundane and transcendental, yata, as it is, rupe, in the form, jnaniyam, may it be known, te, your, to, but, arupinaha, one who is formless. Translation: in spite of that, my Lord, I am praying to you to kindly fulfill my desire. May I please be informed how, in spite of your transcendental form, you assume the mundane form, although you have no such form at all. Let's also read the next verse because 27 has a purport. Yatatmamaya yogena nana shaktya upyabrimhitam vilumpan vishrijan grinnan bibrad atmanam atmana. Translation and purport by Abhay Charanandavinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation: and please inform me how you, by your own self, manifest different energies for annihilation, generation, acceptance, and maintenance by combination and permutation. Purport: the whole manifestation is the Lord himself by diffusion of his different energies only, namely the internal, external, and marginal, just as the sunlight is the manifestation of the energy of the sun planet. Such energy is simultaneously one with and different from the Lord, just as the sunshine is simultaneously one with and different from the sun planet. The energies are acting by combination and permutation by the indication of the Lord, and the acting agents like Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva are also different incarnations of the Lord. In other words, there is nothing but the Lord, and still the Lord is different from all such manifestive activities. How it is so will be explained later on. Om Ajnanatimidandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Mano Bhishtam Stapitam Jaina Bhutale Swayam Rupakadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yataf Parakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Sha Shri Rupam Sagaratam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitam Sha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostite Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Panchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyeva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Vishnuparaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Vaisheshika Dasari Kariyati Namane Namo Vishnuparaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Chatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. I wanted to chant one more verse before I begin my class. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narotamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayamudirayed. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances unto the personality of Godhead, Narayan, unto Naranarayan Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Translation for today's verse. And please inform me how You, by your own self, manifest different energies for annihilation, generation, acceptance, and maintenance by combination and permutation. So today is the appearance of one of our Vaishnavacharyas, and I'll elaborate on his glories briefly. Lochana Das Thakur, Srila Prabhupada says, was almost a contemporary of Lord Chaitanya. He appeared in 1520 AD, 34 years after the appearance of Mahaprabhu. And he appeared in the village of Katva, which is where Mahaprabhu took sannyas initiation. And Srila Prabhupada glorifies Lochana Das Thakur as being very poetic, just like Narottam Das Thakur, Bhaktivinoda Thakur. All of these acharyas, one of their primary characteristics is that they're kavi, they're very poetic. And Lochana Das Thakur, he took initiation from Sri Narahari Sakara Thakur, who was his spiritual master. And his spiritual master gave him the instruction to write about Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And there are primary books written about Lord Chaitanya, one being the Chaitanya Charitamrita by Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. Another prominent book about Mahaprabhu is the Chaitanya Bhagavat by Vrindavan Das Thakur. And Lochana Das Thakur is famous for writing the Chaitanya Mangala. And the word we all know, every morning we attend Mangala Arati. So Mangala means auspicious. So him writing this book is glorification of the auspicious narrations, activities of Mahaprabhu. And his guru gave him this order, and he wrote this book underneath a tree in a special style called Panchali, which is a Bengali language. And he actually wrote it on tree bark. And I'm going through the teachings of Lord Kapila right now, and I'll just read something in relation to this. I thought it was very interesting. Srila Prabhupada is glorifying Lord Brahma and the Shastra. This is from just a chapter in the teachings of Lord Kapila. This is the information given in Brahma Samhita, the prayers offered by Lord Brahma. This Brahma Samhita was accepted by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who copied it when he toured South India. Formerly, there were no presses to print these literatures, and these important Vedic writings were written by hand. These literatures were not very cheap, and only highly qualified brahmanas were able to keep them. They were worshipped in the temple as the Shastra deity. It is not that they were available everywhere. Now, of course, the printing press has changed all this, but nonetheless, we should always understand that the granthas, the scriptures, should be worshipped as God because they are the sound incarnation of God. One should not consider Bhagavad Gita or Srimad Bhagavatam to be ordinary books. One should take care of them just as carefully as one takes care of the deity. And when my spiritual master was here in Atlanta for the first time in a long time, he told me something really profound. He said the book room should be kept as clean as the Pujari room. I thought that was a really amazing instruction. But it's so special to worship the books by reading them and distributing them. So a little bit more about Lochana Das Thakur. He really emphasized the lotus feet of his spiritual master, Sri Narahari Sakar Thakur. And in order for one to get Gauranga Prema, love for Lord Chaitanya, one has to have firm faith in their guru to get Guru Prema. So, in a lot of his bhajans, he glorifies his spiritual master. And the aspect of mercy is very important for us to understand as devotees, because without having mercy, we're not even qualified to worship Krishna. So we have to always go through our gurus to even before entering the altar, there are certain mantras that one can chant in order to purify their consciousness. One of them is Naham Vipro Nachara Narapatir Napi Vaisho Nasudro Naham Varani Nacha Grihapatir No Vanasto Yatirva Kinto Prodyan Nikhilapadamananda Purnamritabir Gopi Bhartu Padakamalayor Dasa Dasanu Dasaha. I'm not a Brahmin, I am not a Kshatriya, nor am I a Vaishya or a Shudra, neither am I a Brahmachari, nor a Grihasta, nor a Vanaprastha, nor a sannyasi, but I am simply the servant of the servant of the lotus feet of the eternally self, manifesting ocean of nectar of the highest bliss, the master of the gopis, Sri Krishna. So of course Lord Chaitanya taught this, and this should be the mood before we do any sort of worship or service, to always remember our insignificant position as just the humble servant of the Vaishnavas and the Guru. And I'll also read this. I remember being in the Radha Krishna temple in Denver, and the deity worship there was very immaculate, mostly led by Mother Nidra, who's been a book distributor her entire life, and you can see it just by looking at her how blissful she is. But I remember seeing this posted on the outside of their pujari room, and I think most temples have this, but I'll just read this for your pleasure. I am by nature the eternal servant of Krishna, but by misfortune, due to being inimical towards him from time immemorial, I have been identifying with this body and have been wandering in the cycle of birth and death again and again in this material existence, being burnt by the threefold miseries. Now, as a result of some unimaginable good fortune, by the mercy of my spiritual master, I know that I am the eternal servant of Krishna, that I am an infinitesimal spiritual being, completely apart from the gross and subtle body. Now, by the order of my spiritual master, following in his footsteps, I have obtained the good fortune of being able to serve his lotus feet, as well as the lotus feet of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Radha Shyamasundar. So it's nice just to have prayers to help us remember our position as eternal servants of Krishna. A few more things about Lochan Das Thakur. The name Lochana means eyes. So, of course, we can't see Krishna with our mundane eyes, and we have to be endowed with the vision in order to see the deity. I mean, the deity we see every day, and of course is made of marble, but until we smear our eyes with the ointment, the salve of love, can we really see Krishna's true form. And that can't be had by our own endeavor, by our own there's a verse I'm looking for here. 1 second. This is a very famous verse that Srila Prabhupada will quote. This is from the Katha Upanishad. Nayam Atma Pravachanena Labhyo Na Medhaya Na Bahuda Shrutena Yam Evasha Vrinute Tena Labhyas Tasyaisha Atma Vrinute Tanum Swam. And this verse is basically explaining that one can't understand the absolute truth through their own academic knowledge, being falsely proud. So, we have to have mercy in order to be able to enter into these topics, and even to perform devotional service in the proper mindset. We have to beg for the mercy of the devotees, or else nothing will really happen if we think that we're the doers. And in this section that we're hearing today in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Lord Brahma is really emphasizing this mood of, I am just a servant. And you can hear that mood in his prayers. He's asking Krishna in a really, really sweet way. He's asking him, please inform me, because I'm in charge of creating, and I don't want to become puffed up. And we're just a few prayers before the Chatur Shloki, which gives the essence of the Bhagavatam. And the mood of Lord Brahma, he's just saying, please, please Krishna, please help me, please tell me. I'm confused. How is it that you annihilate, you generate, you create all these different planets? And even Lord Brahma can't understand these things. So what to speak of us? And in one of Lochan Das Thakur's poems, it is Nitai Gunamayi, which is a very wonderful poem that Srila Prabhupada sang. You can listen to that recording, it's very nice. Prabhupada writes in there that, in Lochan Das Thakur's bhajan, this word Brahma Durlabha appears in this bhajan. And Srila Prabhupada is explaining that whether one is poor or rich or enlightened or foolish, everyone could take the instruction of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and become drowned in the ocean of love of Godhead. Such love of Godhead is Brahma Durlabha. Even Lord Brahma, who is the supreme teacher within this universe, he also cannot relish. But by the grace of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Mahaprabhu, this love of Godhead was distributed to everyone without discrimination. So that's the special mercy of Lord Nityananda. He didn't discriminate whether one was fit or an unfit candidate. They simply drowned the whole world in the ocean of love of God. It was being blocked up. And so Lord Nityananda and Lord Chaitanya, they freely distributed this love of God. And that's what this bhajan we sang is describing, the Parama Karuna. Parama is supreme and Karuna is merciful. Pahun means lords, and Dui is these two. These two lords are very, very merciful. No one is more merciful than Nitai and Gaura. And Lochana Das Thakur, he composed his Chaitanya Mangal from the diaries of Murari Gupta, the Kadachas. And Murari Gupta, if I'm not mistaken, was either instructed by Lord Chaitanya about maybe Mahaprabhu gave him instructions to write. I think Murari Gupta was a direct associate of Lord Chaitanya. Yeah. So Lochan Das Thakur being coming before then, Prabhupada says, like almost a contemporary. And he wrote several bhajans, not nearly as many as Bhaktivinoda Thakur or more famous acharyas like Narottam Das Thakur, but one of the more well-known ones, Parama Karuna, Nitai Gunamayi, Akroda Paramananda, and they're all glorifying Lord Nityananda, Lord Chaitanya like that. And the special significance, I heard this story, kind of on the subject matter of mercy, that we can't do this on our own. And there's a story in this regard of Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that one shouldn't just chant the akshara of the mantra, just the syllables. And there was some priest, some pujari, who was doing his service and worshiping the deity, and he was chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, but he had left his body and he ended up becoming a ghost. And the devotees went to Bhaktivinoda Thakur and he said, how has this happened? How did he become a ghost? He's chanting the holy name of Krishna. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur had said that he was just chanting the syllables, the mantra akshara. And the devotees at that temple asked Bhaktivinoda Thakur, well, how can he be saved? He's in the body of a ghost. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, well, he has to meet a sadhu, and he has to hear from them the discourses on the Bhagavad Gita and the Srimad Bhagavatam. So it's nice now that we're constantly being reminded to chant attentively, and we're chanting these prayers in the morning again to avoid the 10 offenses. I was hearing a seminar given by Tamal Krishna Maharaj on the 6th canto of the Bhagavatam, and it's all about the holy name. There's tons of descriptions in that section about Ajamil and the power of the mantra. But Tamal Krishna Goswami was explaining the current status of our modern day Krishna consciousness movement. And he was saying, some grihastas, they wake up in the morning, they chant a few rounds before they go to work, and then on their way to work, they chant a couple of rounds in the car while driving, and then they go to their karmi job. Whatever karmi job they're providing for their family in whatever way, that's fine. But on their lunch break, they go off and they, get a few shnig ram rams in their lunch break, and then go home, drive back home, super tired, wiped out, and then at the end of the day, they fall asleep in a chair chanting, the last few of their rounds. So Maharaj was furious. He said, "This is not prayer. It is satatam kirtayantamam." The japa is, you have to be focused. You don't just, doing it inattentive throughout the day, not giving proper respect to Krishna, and you'll experience a lot of difficulties in your spiritual life if that's how you're taking up the role of being a devotee. And I heard this nice analogy of a goldsmith. When they're melting gold, they're very, very careful not to waste any of the liquid, the molten gold, so they're pouring it into different molds, and the gold is liquid, very hot, very dangerous. But just like that, the holy name is just like gold. And in the morning time, or whenever we get to chant our rounds, maybe you're a cook or something, you have to chant later on in the day, but it's just like we're pouring that gold, and we want to be very, very cautious not to even, we don't want to even miss a mantra. If we really knew how wonderful the holy name was, we would want to just chant it all the time. But at least now in the conditioned stage, Prabhupada says that we should just chant Hare Krishna officially, and we should get our rounds done as soon as possible. And the process of Cheto Darpana Marjanam isn't just like, I get a bar of soap and I clean myself. The process has to be endowed upon us through mercy. The Cheto Darpana Marjanam, the Sarvatma Snaparam, the bathing of the self. We can't just clean our hearts by our own endeavor. There has to be some help from above, from a higher source. And I was just thinking recently about my own difficulties in executing devotional service, how important it is to hear the Srimad Bhagavatam class. I think I heard a devotee once say, every morning when I wake up, I'm an atheist. And it's just important to constantly realign ourselves, and it's not that we just do it once, chant our 16 rounds, okay, I'm finished with this, I made my vow. And I guess some people live like that. They just take initiation and then they just kind of give it up after some time. But anyways, in order to avoid that, we should constantly be in the association of devotees, regularly hear the Srimad Bhagavatam class. And I was thinking that, all these instructions are given in the Shastra about materialists, avoiding sense gratification. And I myself, I may think, well, I'm above that. I can, I'm not a mundane materialist, but now I'm realizing all these instructions are really just for me because I'm such a rascal. My senses are uncontrolled. My mind is uncontrolled. Everything is really for my own purification. And the best way to navigate through one's life, I'm realizing, is to analyze one's own self first. Actually, only you should analyze yourself, because looking outwardly at the faults of others isn't going to help you in any way whatsoever. And this is the mood of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. That it's my own religion to find fault with myself, because to criticize others is simply a waste of time. And unless you're given that service of guiding others and they're asking you for correction, you shouldn't put yourself in that position of, bringing others down or what have you. But it's the work of the person who's designated with that title, that service. And I was just appreciating, Mahotsav Prabhu was speaking a few days ago about His Holiness Bhakti Vikash Maharaj. Simply by Maharaj's flow of Vani, this whole temple room, this whole project has just emanated from the words of a pure devotee. And I heard this nice story about Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, how his disciples were becoming a little bit agitated. And they said, well, Maharaj, we're going out and begging every day. And they were getting very, very little. But the disciple has to go and beg and bring alms back for the spiritual master like that. And they were having difficulty doing that. And they had an improper attitude, obviously. So anyways, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said, well, I'll just go out and I'll do it myself. And all of a sudden, Maharaj was getting all of the, big donations of grains and rice, ghee, tons of different vegetables and boga. And it was like flooding the temple. And you can see like that the pure devotees, like Mahotsaha Prabhu was saying that, Bhakti Vikas Swami, he could do everything for us, but he's giving us mercy like that so we can render some service. And even we can see that was Srila Prabhupada's mood. I think there was a conversation in Mayapur, and Vishnu Jan Swami was saying, that was in LA, Prabhupada's room. Yeah, Prabhupada was saying that, Bhaktivinoda Thakur is very merciful. He's left us some service. So that's their mercy upon us. And Srila Prabhupada received the order from Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur to, if you ever get money, you should invest your money in a candy bar company.
No.
You should invest your money in the stock market. If you ever get money, print books! That was the order. So when we can see how wonderfully Prabhupada executed that order, and how we are trying to keep that same Gauravani in our lives, in the center of our lives. And if we ever feel ourselves, I often feel myself going out of balance of my own Krishna consciousness and devotional service, becoming morose. But the proper attitude to have is that we are actually not the seer, but the seen. And if one carries themselves with that consciousness that, okay, I'm acting in such a way just to please Krishna. Like Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur would often come to see the deities, but he wouldn't wear his glasses. And his disciples would come, and he would explain to them that, no, I'm just here to have the deities see me. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur would sit far back by the Garuda Stamba, and he would sit underneath the statue of Garuda. And he says, well, Krishna, I'm sitting by Krishna's devotee, great devotee. So Krishna will cast his glance upon his devotee Garuda, and maybe then he'll see me there. So it's really a nice way to realign ourselves. To always think that, I should really just act in a way to please the devotees, and not try to be seen, or just behave in such a way that we're just trying to give pleasure to the guru and the Vaishnavas, the Guru Parampara, the devotees that we serve with, and that's really, really special. Because we may have to face our fears in order to advance further in devotional service. And I was talking with a disciple of Srila Prabhupada, and he said, I walked through fire for Prabhupada, and I'll do it again. So it's not that it's going to be easy to stay on the path of Krishna consciousness. In fact, it's going to be extremely difficult, only if we're trying to do it by our own effort. But if we have the shelter of Krishna conscious devotees, they only have our welfare and concern. And Mahotsa Prabhu, do you have the Veda base up? I wanted to read something from the 10th canto, If you could pull this up, this is really, really amazing. I don't know how I came across this, but I wanted to read. This is 10th Canto, 4th chapter. Ten 4:43. I'll read the English and then the purport. Shukadeva Goswami continued, thus, having considered the instructions of his bad ministers, Kamsa, who was bound by the laws of Yamaraj and devoid of good intelligence, because he was a demon, decided to persecute the saintly persons, the Brahmanas, as the only way to achieve his own good fortune. Srila Lochanadas Thakur has sung Aparana Karama Bunjaye Shamana Kohe Lochanadas. Instead of taking good instructions from the sages and the Shastras, godless non-devotees act whimsically, according to their own plans. Actually, however, no one has his own plans because everyone is bound by the laws of nature and must act according to his tendency in material conditioned life. Therefore, one must change one's own decision and follow the decision of Krishna and Krishna's devotees. Then one is rescued from punishment by Yamaraj. Kamsa was not uneducated. It appears from his talks with Vasudeva and Devaki that he knew all about the laws of nature. But because of his association with bad ministers, he could not make a clear decision about his welfare. Therefore, the Chaitanya Charitamrita says, Sadhu Sangha Sarva Shastra Koi, Lavamatra Sadhu Sangha Sarvasiddhi Hoy. If one desires his real welfare, he must associate with devotees and saintly persons, and in this way rectify the material condition of his life. Yeah, how wonderful is that? I think I found this in digging up research about Lochanadas Thakur. And his mood also is something to imbibe. He ends this prayer we sung today, Parama Karuna, that I'm entrapped by sense gratification. I'm not being allowed to participate in this wonderful Sankirtan movement. And Lord Chaitanya, Srila Prabhupada says that he went all over the forest of Jarikanda and he was attracting even animals to chant and dance with him. And Prabhupada said maybe that might not be possible for us to chant and dance with bears and tigers and have deer lick our feet, but we can at least try to induce people on the streets to, buy Prabhupada's books, to make them sing and dance. And you'll see that now. Chandanacharya Prabhu, Ali Krishna Prabhu, the devotees are going out in Harinam, and you see these videos they're making of your average folks out on the street, getting flooded with just mercy. And it's so sweet, devotees making videos of them interacting with people on books. And you can see how really it's just beginning to open up. And the floodgates soon will, the whole world will be flooded. And I was thinking too of all the austerities that one must undergo to perform Sankirtan. And even this marathon, you have to, everyone was undergoing intense yagya. I can only speak for myself as a Bhakti Shibuda, but you're just out there, you're on your feet all day, you're walking around, you're interacting with so many different kinds of people, and you just have to be very cautious. I myself, the whole marathon, I was feeling to be protected and guided. And I was just going out and I'll just try to act as an instrument and not try to offend people in any way, shape, or form. You're not going to be able to please everyone. But if we carry on this mood of Lord Chaitanya, that if someone is nasty to me, I can just be nice to them. Trinadapi, Sunichena, and then really you can constantly, take shelter of the holy name, and because it's easy to, if someone is nasty to you, just react like that. And it's something I'm working on and practicing. It's not always easy. Sometimes someone can be very rude to you and you just want to react like that, but better than being reactive is to make spiritual advancement and tell yourself that, hey, this person is just acting for my own purification. Let me just remember Krishna. And the austerities, we have to undergo so many different austerities. Just being out in the cold weather, the leaders are racking their brains. How can we facilitate the whole mission? And the Matajis are tying books for days on end. The men are going out distributing. The cooks are basically living in the kitchen. Wake up, cook, all day, morning, afternoon, evening. I always joke with Janardhan and Krishna, but I was like, you're just going to bring your yoga mat and you just sleep in here because you're always in the kitchen. And and the more I engage in Sankirtan, the more I realize how mysterious the whole activity is. I was thinking the first week of the marathon for me, myself, Abhimanyu Sutta Prabhu, and we were at this convention and so many people were getting books. And obviously we know this in the past and even today, people receive books and they may not, want to take them. Maybe they leave it on the garbage can at the airport, or they leave it, outside of the bathroom, some convention center, or something like that. We go to the universities, the professors are like, we see all your books throughout our school, like that. And for a while I was kind of wondering about this, there's so many books, what happens to the people that receive books? Do they become devotees? I was just like, wow, but none of it really is left up to me, so it doesn't really help it wastes my time to kind of think about these things. It's all left up to Srila Prabhupada and Krishna, Lord Chaitanya, like that. But I was hearing my spiritual master explain this actually, and I was totally dumbfounded. They were having this problem during Srila Prabhupada's time, and they said, "Oh, Prabhupada, we're seeing many people are throwing away the books." And Srila Prabhupada said, "Well, that's not a surprise because in America, people throw away their own babies."
That's true.
And they also told Srila Prabhupada, we see some people are coming to meet us and they're stealing our books. And Prabhupada said, 2 words, lucky thief. So who's really to say what's going to happen when somebody gets Prabhupada's book? I remember so many years ago first getting my first copy, my first book given to me by a book distributor. I had no idea what was going on. I thought it was like some volunteer, like peace advocate or something like that, like going around with like a clipboard. I had no idea who he was. I remember getting a copy of The Journey of Self-Discovery, looking at it, and actually no, I think it was my brother got a Bhagavad Gita. Anyways, there's that picture on the back of the paperback Gita that we distribute of Prabhupada, black and white, wearing the white robes. And I remember seeing that. Actually, I think there's a big photo of it in the JSD, Journey of Self-Discovery. I remember seeing that and being like, wow, this person, I was like so attracted to the form of Prabhupada. So I was already trying to figure out like, different saints and different personalities to like look up to. I mean, we have role models and whatnot, but I remember really being like blown away by Prabhupada's picture. But things didn't kind of unfold until later, but drastically my life changed even just after receiving one of the books. So it's important that we keep pushing on the mission of book distribution, Harinam, Prasadam distribution. I did more research on Lochan Das Thakur. I couldn't really get too much from this verse today, but I have a few other things I'll mention. I'm not such an eloquent speaker, but in this purport, Prabhupada is talking about, the whole Krishna conscious philosophy is based on simultaneous oneness and difference, the Achintya Beta Beta Tattva. And the whole section we're hearing about in our classes has been about Lord Brahma. And there's a wonderful verse in the Brahma Samhita, the 48th verse, Yasyaika Nishvasita kalam atavalamya jivanti loma vilaja jagadandanataha Vishnur mahan saihayasya kala vishesho govindam adipurusham tamaham bhajami. Translation is, Brahma and other lords of the mundane worlds appearing from the pores of hair of Mahavishnu remain alive as long as the duration of one exhalation of the latter Mahavishnu. I adore the primeval Lord Govinda, of whose subjective personality Mahavishnu is the portion of portion. Yeah, it's just so incredible. The verse we're hearing today is talking about the different, the Prabhupada is giving these analogies of the energy of the sun and the planet and like that. And Lord Brahma is such a great personality, and he's setting the mood for our whole sampradaya. But, he's in this verse is saying he only lasts just one exhalation of Mahavishnu. It's just really inconceivable how great Krishna really is. And how can we really ever understand that unless we are situated in the proper service attitude and our superiors become pleased with us? Can we even begin to enter into the mystery of devotional service? Let me just look over a few other things. I don't have too many other things to speak on. Here is on the topic about mercy, Lochandas Thakur was always begging for the dust of his guru's feet like that. And there's this prayer in the beginning of the Chaitanya Charitamrita that says, Vande Gurun, that the guru manifests in different forms. The guru is plural form of guru. And one who is advanced can see, like in the 11th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, there is the story of the Brahmin who had, was it 23 different gurus? 24. One of the examples given is the arrow maker, who was so focused on just sharpening, making arrows, that a king had come with a whole procession, and there was music and elephants and whole infantry. And the arrow maker was just so focused on his service that someone had come by and said, "Oh, did you see the procession? There's a great king here." And the arrow maker didn't even notice. He was one-pointed, fixed attention. So that's something to strive for, because the material world has so many varieties. Bahushaka is unlimited. Even I was given the service yesterday of assisting Ranchor Prabhu, and they need a few things for their home, and they needed some night lights. I mean, they're older now, in their 70s, and I remember my grandparents having like night lights around their home so they don't trip and fall and stuff like that. And we were just in the light section of Home Depot, and I turned around and I told Ranchor Prabhu, I was like, "This is crazy." I said, when Prabhupada was in Vrindavan, he just had a little oil lamp, but we're looking around this aisle, there's like 500 different kinds of lights. It's just like, wow, And Rama Mataji was like, yeah, like just look at the shampoo. It was like hundreds and hundreds of varieties. It's just like, oh my God, the material world is there's so many perplexities, commutations, permutations. How can we not become bewildered? So just focus on bhakti yoga, follow the simple path very strictly, attend Mangal Arati every day, only eat Krishna Prasadam. I had a devotee contact me. He said, how is it that the devotees are distributing Bhagavatams in Walmarts? He said, they must have permission from the manager or something like that. I was like, no, they just go in with a big cart and they put all their books. And I said, they don't get permission. But I said, well, yeah, the devotees are very sincere in their sadhana. They go, attend the morning program. They take Krishna Prasadam with the devotees. And some may be trying to figure out, they're seeing the success of our book distribution, which ultimately is just mercy being poured down upon us from the Guru Parampara, and we're just acting as instruments. But we're just following strictly, so we're seeing some results by doing that. So that's, Mahotsa Prabhu always gives that answer. People ask him, how is it you're distributing so many Bhagavatam sets? But actually, I think you always quote Prabhupada saying that everything's in the bead bag. Yeah. And the process of Shravana is very important. Like I was mentioning, how we have to daily attend the Srimad Bhagavatam class, and I can be on the mental platform and just come and hear a devotee speak, and it's like, wow, everything is like illuminated, So much rajas, so much tamas, so much being pummeled by the material energy. And Srila Prabhupada says like that, you can go in front of the deities and simply tell them how I'm being kicked around and tossed in the waves of the ocean of material existence. You can just go and pray, reveal your mind to the deity like that. And the process of Shravan, hearing about Krishna, Srila Prabhupada writes in the 4th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, this is really revolutionary. Prabhupada says, this is a quote, "The perfection of life depends on one's inclination to hear about Krishna." So we can't overemphasize the importance of regularly hearing, developing love, developing attachment for Krishna's devotees, Krishna's pastimes, Krishna's name, Krishna's form, Krishna's pastimes. Now the devotees are in the holy land of India, going on pilgrimage, being guided by no one better than Vishnu Chitta Prabhu to take the Prabhus around and show them what it means to take advantage of what the holy places are offering, not just to go there and bathe like that. And Vishnu Chitta Prabhu allowed me to go to Mayapur, and I was spending time with Abhinava Prabhu, disciple of Bhakti Vikas Swami, and we took a long train. We were on the train most of the day, but he ended up taking me to Panihati, which was amazing, and it took a picture, and I sent it to someone who would be able to appreciate it, Mahotsav Prabhu, because he's always meditating on that pastime, Raghunath Das Goswami, getting the mercy of Lord Nityananda. And I was just there, and there's large banyan trees. And I was like, let me take a picture. Mahotsav Prabhu would appreciate this. And we can even see, like, during our facilitation, Chandanacharya Prabhu had gotten a little piece of cloth from Srila Prabhupada, and he says, well, I'm not very capable, I'm not able to appreciate something like this, so he gave it to Kalki Prabhu. I thought that was very sweet, So it's always good to remember what our seniors have done for us, and to show proper love and care and attention and respect like that. And we're here in Panihati, the land of Lord Nityananda, and we've been given the great service of continuing on Srila Prabhupada's legacy. And I was hearing also this series of Tamal Krishna Maharaj, and he said that, of course, books and farms are the main mission. And Tamal Krishna Goswami said that the current status of the farms in our Krishna consciousness movement are not anywhere near what Srila Prabhupada wanted. So the devotees are just living comfortably. They're basically living like life in the city. They're living as if they're in the city, but they're in the country. So there's so much work that needs to be done. There's so much endeavor in order to execute that order that Srila Prabhupada so much wanted. And even Bhakti Vikas Swami, that's Maharaj's whole mood. He says, I don't want to build temples now, I just want to develop Varnashram farm communities. And this is something Srila Prabhupada quoted, I think it's from some English poet or something like that, but man created the cities and God created the country. I remember hearing that in the very beginning and being really inspired by that statement. Anyways, I'm just kind of going on here. If there are questions or corrections, comments, we can take them now.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. I had a couple of things, but I'll just mention just like a few things at first. I remember one time one devotee was telling me, isn't that a different country in Europe? but he was just saying how like he grew up and he would go in the store and like if he wanted like a jacket or whatever, it was just like two things to choose from or whatever. But he was making the point that like in the West, it's like if you want something, and it's like we all have that experience, like whatever you want, like some, I don't know, like something like to charge your phone, there's like 50 different things, you know, if you want some light, like you're saying, there's 500, there's like so much variety of like everything. It's like, it's ridiculous. It's actually bewildering, especially for me, because I'm like very like particular person. So one thing I just wanted to kind of like ask, just some clarification. So there's 24 gurus. Can we like actually like connect that to Krishnadas Kaviraj's first verse? Because kind of my understanding of it was like he was referring to like specifically like Vaishnavas as like gurus. I don't know. I'm just kind of like asking. I never like thought of it like that before.
Yeah, I wasn't making that. I think my words slurred a little bit.
Yeah.
I had these notes taken down, but yeah, they're like two separate topics.
Okay.
Yeah. I think I just kind of slammed them together.
Okay. All right. Because anyways, I was thinking too that, I mean, like, because in that same chapter also, it's been a while since I've read it, but I know that Krishnadas Kaviraj cites Bivalamangala Thakur, where he, the Chintamani, that she gave him some instruction like that, and he took that as like inspiration from like his guru. And Bivalamangala Thakur offers obeisances down to her as a guru.
Somagiri is also there, right? Is that
Somagiri?
Somagiri is mentioned?
The name?
Is that one of his gurus?
I don't know.
Yeah, and that purport Prabhupada mentions that Bivalamangala Thakur saw his Shiksha gurus and his Diksha gurus to be equal. It's really far out.
Yeah, but anyways, I don't know if you have some.
Hare Krishna. So one thing, we can see, yes, we should analyze our faults. That's very important for us to look within, amend yourselves. That quote of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. But also, we should never at any point lose a sense of discrimination. It's very important to always make sure that's the very sign of intelligence. Is intelligence discriminates between right and wrong. Even what's said in Shastra, what's right according to Shastra and what's wrong according to Shastra, what's right according to Guru Sadhu Shastra. That's the purpose of the intelligence, So sometimes, people go too far to say, oh, just find fault with yourself, don't worry about anything which is going on But if it's affecting, of course there's a circle of concern and a circle of influence, but, we should never shut off our intelligence in that regard. And I was also thinking over here, in this purport, Srila Prabhupada is speaking about how, he's explaining how that this whole material world, please inform me how you by your own self manifest different energies for annihilation, generation, acceptance and maintenance by combination and permutation, So, Prabhupada is speaking about all this in the purport here. And I was thinking this verse, it was very appropriate for this was it? Sattvam rajas samas iti prakriti gunaster. You know this verse?
Sa eha yasya
Sattvam rajas samas iti prakriti gunaster sityadaya harivirinchi hareti samagna shreyam chitatra kalo sattvatanor niramsyu. I'm sure I missed a line there. But you can look it up. It's in that. Maybe you could read the translation and purport there, and then we could get more of a clarification on, our understanding of this purport.
Do you know the number? I think it's in the beginning somewhere.
Yeah, 1-2 something. 1-2-24.
Yeah, okay. Sadvam rajas tama iti prakriter gunaster yuktaf para purusha eka ihasya date tityade hari varinchi hariti samya shreyamsi tatra kalo sattvatanornanam suhu. This is Canto 1, Chapter 2, Text 23, for those who are keeping score at home. Translation: the transcendental personality of Godhead is indirectly associated with the three modes of material nature, namely passion, goodness, and ignorance. And just for the material world's creation, maintenance, and destruction, he accepts the three qualitative forms of Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. Of these three, all human beings can derive ultimate benefit from Vishnu, the form of the quality of goodness. Purport. That Lord Sri Krishna by his plenary parts should be rendered devotional service as explained above is confirmed by this statement. Lord Sri Krishna and all his plenary parts are Vishnu Tattva, or the Lordship of Godhead. From Sri Krishna, the next manifestation is Baladev. From Baladev is Sankarshan. From Sankarshan is Narayan. From Narayan there is the second Sankarshan. And from this Sankarshan, the Vishnu Purusha avatars. The Vishnu, or the deity of the quality of goodness in the material world, is the Purusha avatar known as Shirodakshai Vishnu or Paramatma. Brahma is the deity of Rajas, passion, and Shiva of ignorance. They are the three departmental heads of the three qualities of this material world. The creation is made possible by Brahma's quality of passion and his endeavor. It is maintained by the goodness of Vishnu, and when it requires to be destroyed, Lord Shiva does it by the Tandava Nritya. The materialists and the foolish human beings worship Brahma and Shiva respectively, but the pure transcendentalists worship the form of goodness, Vishnu, in his various forms. Vishnu is manifested by his millions and billions of integrated forms and separated forms. The integrated forms are called Godhead, and the separated forms are called the living entities or the jivas. Both the jivas and Godhead have their original spiritual forms. Jivas are sometimes subjected to the control of the material energy, but the Vishnu forms are always controllers of this energy. When Vishnu, the personality of Godhead, appears in the material world, he comes to deliver the conditioned living beings who are under the material energy. Such living beings appear in the material world with intentions of being lords, and thus they become entrapped by the three modes of nature. As such, living entities have to change their material coverings for undergoing different terms of imprisonment. The prison house in the material world is created by Brahma under instruction of the personality of Godhead, and at the conclusion of a kalpa, the whole thing is destroyed by Shiva. But as far as maintenance of the prison house is concerned, it is done by Vishnu, as much as the state prison house is maintained by the state. Anyone, therefore, who wishes to get out of this prison house of material existence, which is full of miseries like repetition of birth, death, disease, and old age, must please Lord Vishnu for such liberation. Lord Vishnu is worshipped by devotional service only, and if anyone has to continue prison life in the material world, he may ask for relative facilities for temporary relief from the different demigods like Shiva, Brahma, Indra, and Varuna. No demigod, however, can release the imprisoned living being from the conditioned life of material existence. This can be done only by Vishnu. Therefore, the ultimate benefit may be derived from Vishnu, the personality of Godhead.
Yeah, Prabhupada mentions this verse in this purport that was up for the class today. We can see this over here. He speaks about Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva, and just trying to pull that up.
It's a nice connection, yeah.
Over here. Where is that? Yeah, there you go. Energies are acting by the combination and permutation by the indication of the Lord, and the acting agents like Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva are also different incarnations of the Lord. And we can understand also from this purport that whatever we see in this material world, Prabhupada is making response all manifestation of the three energies of Krishna, as the inferior energy, the superior energy, and the marginal potency of Krishna. So it's very important for us to, and this all is just leading into the Chaturshloki, where the secret of not being in Maya is given, where if you really want to be Krishna conscious, you understand what everything in this material world, whatever you're looking, how it's related to Krishna. See this, and how is it related to Krishna? You're walking outside, you see the sun. Krishna sees the light of the sun. You're drinking water. The Krishna has a taste in the water. You're looking at, whatever you may be looking at. You can understand it from that point of view that it's all Krishna's energy and Krishna's manifest potencies. So we understand like that.
Yeah, there's a verse in the 4th chapter of the Gita, and this was something nice. I was reading through this, and it's called the SSP, the Supreme Spiritual Peace. If you live like that, you're saying everything's related to Krishna, you can have that Supreme Spiritual Peace. That's in the 4th chapter of the Gita, text 39. But I'm happy you also mentioned that point about not losing our discrimination. That's really important. Whether you're on book distribution or you're driving or even, just in your spiritual life in general, yeah, super important. Thank you. Anything from the Matajis? Okay, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.